I will continue to say, let the birth rate plummet to hell, and these men need to be lonelier, just based on this title alone. She says, my husband says he's angry that I'm pregnant again. I feel so alone. Her husband is angry that she's pregnant, as if husbands don't know how pregnancies happen. I'm irritated already, but let's look at the post. She says, I'm just looking for advice and emotional support. Please be kind. My husband and I have been together for 4 years, married for almost 2 months. He's acting up after 2 months. We have a little girl, and we just found out I'm pregnant again. I am on Triphysil, a contraceptive, but we still got pregnant. I recently lost my job, and I'm actively looking. 2 possible opportunities to start within a week. He has a full-time job, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. I have been sick for around a month now. I'm in between 4 to 6 weeks pregnant. I always struggle with my tonsils, even before I had my first little one, but our state/country charges so much to get them removed. I felt better a week or so back, but this week I got severe sinus and ear infections. I also found out this week that I'm pregnant. This will be relevant a little bit later on. When I initially told him, he was shocked. I was too. He said, we'll be fine. It's just another thing. I gave him space to comprehend everything that's happened. I didn't try to push too hard, and at first I didn't want to tell anyone about the pregnancy, not until we're past 12 weeks. The same night I told him, he told his parents. That led to us telling all of our immediate family, mostly our parents and siblings. This morning, we woke up, got our little one ready for the day with her grandparents, and he told me he wanted to talk. He told me that he's really unhappy that I'm pregnant again. He said his rage is bubbling up, and it's easy to be mad at someone, and that he doesn't want to take it out on me, but I'm pissing him off. His reasoning for his rage towards me is because the house was a bit of a mess this week. As stated earlier, I'm really sick. I have constant nausea and heartburn, and our little one has been sick for 2 days this week, so I also had to look after her. My sleep is also non-existent at this point. I need to go pee so many times at night. My throat burns while I'm sleeping. It's hard to swallow, and I get up every time I hear my little one cough. I didn't get to doing much of the dishes, only the necessities. I do laundry, but don't keep track of what outfit or piece of clothing is in which load. I didn't get a chance to fold any of the laundry. Almost every day this week, he told me over text to relax, sleep, get better, don't worry about the house. But then he hits me with this issue this morning. I'm already getting pissed off at this man. All right, she continues. He also said that this has been a problem for quite some time now. He'll ask me where something is, but I'll reply with, I don't know. I can't really confirm or deny that. My memory is so bad the last few months, and there's probably was a few times I couldn't tell him where something was. Why is that her responsibility? Why can't he keep up with his own things? I tried to tell him that I'm not feeling well. I went to the doctor today, as well as my voice is completely gone for like 3 days now, and no medication is working. I told him that I would appreciate some help, even if it was just folding laundry. Yesterday, I forgot to eat due to tiredness and being busy with our child. It would have been nice of him to maybe make us some food. When I brought up the fact that I haven't eaten, he said I should make myself something. He had a big lunch and was still full. Every point I tried to make, he just twisted and make it seem like it's my fault. After every hurtful thing he said, he'll come closer and say, I really do love you. The fight ended when he tried to tell me that he loves me, and I responded with, no, you don't. This isn't love. He got mad and went to work after that. I just don't know what to do anymore. I'm so tired of this. I feel like poop, emotionally and physically. But after the fight, I started deep cleaning the house. I felt bad for the state it was in, almost as if I'm the worst wife and mother. She says, I'm not willing to terminate or harm my unborn baby in any way. I'm debating whether or not I should just move back into my mother's house. I'm just scared he decides to harm me, or if he decides to harm me. I guess I needed to vent somewhere, but I'd appreciate any advice. If she's scared that he might harm her, then she definitely needs to leave, because we know that this is a precarious time and he sounds unstable. If she is sick, if he is telling her to relax and get some rest and heal and all of that, and then the next day he's talking about, look at this place. You're barely even doing laundry. And where are my keys? Why can't you remember where I put my stuff? This does not sound like a partnership. This sounds like an unstable dude. And I'm glad that she is considering her options, and even that moving in with her mother is available. The fact that she has only been married for 2 months and he's acting like this is a terrible sign. Let's check out some of the comments. Weary Babies says, assuming your mother would actually give you the love and kindness you need and deserve, it sounds as though that would be the best place for you. Pack up and go. Leave the house dirty. He can clean it. Ubiquity says, is he confused as to how pregnancy occurs? You're not married. That was my point. Like, why is he angry? Felina Kyle says, when I read the post title, the exact words that went through my head was he not there for the conception? I'm glad OP has a safe place to go. And then the person at the bottom, Yvette, says, when I read the post title, the words that went through my head were, if pregnancy is going to piss him off, he should have got a vasectomy. Okay, I completely agree with that as well. At what point do some of the men take some responsibility for contraception and the reproductive family decisions in the family? Why can't they take on anything? But if he can't take on any of the laundry, obviously he's not going to take on the big things like this. She gave us an update. She says, I went to my mom's place. It was the initial idea anyway. Before I posted, I packed bags for me and my little one. He's not home yet, so he doesn't know I'm gone. Thanks for the support and advice. I just like to say that the people who were grilling me for why I'm anti-abortion and asking what beliefs I follow, that was really not helpful and actually really rude. I'm not here to state a case on why I'm anti-abortion. To the one commentator who was quite rude about my 9-paragraph story, I'd just like to point out that this isn't a short relationship. He wasn't like this for the first 2 years. He was the best person you could ever ask for, and then he changed. This is a great point right here, and I like to hammer this home sometimes. Abuse isn't this clear if it's something you grew up with and in the end fell in love with. I didn't feel the need to add anything about my childhood, as I felt that was too personal. This is the reason why I will continue to say that staying in a tumultuous or toxic or abusive relationship because a 2-parent home is what you get drilled into your brain is best. It's not best, because it sets up people to think that this is what a relationship looks like. And that is not what relationships should look like. Relationships should not be toxic and walking on eggshells around these men. It absolutely should not. She says, tough love in the form of comments doesn't really help. But once again, thanks to all for the helpful comments, thoughts, and advice. I'll update if I have any new info. And this is the reason why I talk about empathy and grace, because you need to have that, because you don't know where people's starting points are. You don't know how they grew up. You don't know what they have seen modeled. You don't know. So for me, in my comment section, I don't allow the mean girl stuff like, why didn't you just do, or shoulda, coulda, woulda, because shoulda doesn't help anything. Like, it's completely unhelpful. Now, if you're going to be pro-choice, because she doesn't want to she doesn't want to terminate. That's her business. When you are pro-choice, you let people make their own decisions, as long as she's not pushing her beliefs on other people. Pro-choice means be okay with people's choices. And I'm glad that she has a safe landing spot in the form of her mother's home. Let me know what you think of this one. We got another one for the let the birth rate plummet to hell and make these dudes lonelier. This woman posted in the advice subreddit saying, my husband is jealous of our newborn. Please help. These people are damaged. And we keep talking about the birth rates and all of that. But then on the other hand, when we're looking at what's going on in women's lives on individual basis, we're seeing that these dudes do not like women. They don't like what happens to our bodies. They don't like their kids. They don't like spending time with the kids. They don't like doing any of the parenting. If families break up, if parents divorce, they don't want to support the kids. Is the child-free movement really that hard to understand? I don't get it. But let's look at this one. This woman says, he openly admitted it one time. He makes me feel guilty if I'm looking after our son when he's crying or whining. I try my best to divide my time since he has also a child from a previous marriage and the mother is pretty much not in the picture. So I have to be there for 3 individuals. My husband said things like, here are also 2 other persons you need to care for. Go to your baby. We can't do anything because of this little What? He is always crying. You only have to be liked by your son and so on. Oh my God, I am disgusted by this man. Otherwise, he is very loving and caring for our son. No, you can't be calling a kid a little and then here saying otherwise he is very loving and caring. You can't be jealous of your son and then say that he is very loving and caring. She says, what should I do? How should I approach this situation? How can I make my husband understand that a baby needs 24/7 care? He can't feed himself. He can't clean himself. He needs love and a safe space. He can't understand that we also have needs. How can I tell my husband that? Please help. If he has another child from the first marriage, from a previous marriage, there's no reason he doesn't understand this already. He's just acting like an overgrown man-child, a king baby. The things that these wives are having to put up with, they honestly disgust me. And people, when men come into my posts and they say, you're just a feminist and you're perpetuating the gender wars, I look at stuff like this should enrage anybody with some sense. But really, there's no help to be had unless this dad wants to tap in and actually participate with raising his own child. Blazed Mink says, can't do anything because of this little is the one that hurt my mom heart. And then Foreign Primary says, I am very concerned about the health and safety of that newborn. It bothers me tremendously that he prefers to that child as a little And then Pedalfire says, yeah, that's really concerning. No parent should talk about their baby like that. Vivian says, and calls the baby your baby. I'm not thinking this guy is so great. Neither am I. I would not say that this man is great. Cozy Blossom says, I'm concerned too. Synchronicity says, I mean, it could be worse. Really, how? But that's the reason why this person, probably a man, got downvoted. Primary Lime says, I'm not even a mom, and even I gasped at that. How is OP explaining basic facts about a baby to the father of the baby, and he's not even new to this? He already has a child. Some people should not be able to procreate. Leadership Able says, don't worry though. Otherwise, he is very loving towards our son. Definitely not. Miranda says, that's the part that mind effed me. Like what? I have no words. Three rats in a long coat says, this is a foreshadowing statement to squeezing and shaking a baby. There's violence there. And then here's the OP saying, mine too. I cried so much every time I remember that I had to cry. The part where she says that he called that baby a little She came back and gave us an edit. She says, my husband and I had a heart-to-heart talk after I told him that I'm unhappy. He thought about it and came up with his own solutions. He admitted that his jealousy is wrong and that he will change. He apologized. He said I should rest more and shouldn't worry about the house cleaning and cooking and just do what I can manage to do. He said he won't pressure me anymore and be more patient. Thank you all for reading my post and for your advice and your opinion. I feel so much better after getting heard. Thanks so much. It's wild that women have to do this. We have to form these communities online because the husbands are not listening. And I will continue to say, like, their loneliness, mandemic, because it's going from an epidemic to a pandemic. It just needs to be a mandemic. They need to be lonelier because they don't know how to treat women with humanity. Like when I say that they treat women like a wife appliance, because they expect women to have the same level of service towards them as they did pre-baby. This woman has a newborn and he's expecting service like he was before. Like, what about me? You're an adult. You're an adult that had a child. Why are you acting like this? At this point, I'm obviously losing patience with these peen havers because why are they like this? More of them need to be divorced. More of them need to just be stewing in their homes alone with nobody to talk to, because what the actual F? And with that, I'm going to end it. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share, and keep talking to your teenage girls. Talk to your 20-somethings that are about to go off to school. Talk to them about how this is freaking unacceptable. Talk to them so that they can have some assertiveness, some boundaries, so they don't have to feel unsure about themselves and think that they're overreacting or being an a-hole because they are dealing with a newborn and they can't cater to their husbands or their boyfriends or whatever's feelings. Tell them, try to role play with them or something so we can get past women needing to continually get validation for feeling like this. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, and share. This content creator with the name blog named Bossy, we'll just call her Bossy for short, posted in the parenting threads, but I think that this is more along the lines of a boundaries threads. She says, my husband's fishing buddy refused to accept him canceling their trip because our kids are sick. So he rang my doorbell 6 times before 6 a.m., knowing I have 3 under 7 that have been coughing and running fevers all week. I am livid. This is why his buddy is divorced and his adult kids have gone no contact. Ringing the doorbell before 6 a.m., knowing that someone has kids, regardless of if they are sick or not, that would require some mouthiness. That would require some cuss words or something, because absolutely not. And how dare you? She says, pinning for those who want to know what happened next. My husband reminded him that he canceled the day before and texted and firmly said 4 times he was not going and to leave. Major growth on husband's part. Normally, he gives into the toddler-like tantrums from his friend or concedes to at least getting breakfast. For the record, this buddy is retired and thinks the weekends are his to monopolize my husband's time. My husband grew up without a dad, and this man manipulates that. I'm glad that her husband has boundaries. I'm glad that he didn't just leave her with these sick kids alone, because sometimes they would just up and bounce, but that is good. He is a parent. He's not just going to abandon them. So that's great. The other dad, the other person, the fishing dad that has adult children that's estranged from him. This is the reason why they are estranged, because he probably dropped those kids, dropped the mom to do whatever and go do whatever without giving a good gosh darn. So this dude is like, look, you gonna break up your family for me too. Anyways, let's look at some of the comments, because this was from yesterday, and she does have an update from today. T. Spearman says, I'm torn between the bar is so effing low and I'm proud of your husband for making good choices this time. Salt and Fireweed says, I get what you're saying, and for sure it's true the bar is too low, but I actually think this is more of a people-pleasing problem, and a lot of people never grow out of it. It's very hard and takes a lot of growth. So I don't think we should minimize that just because men suck as a whole, because they do. Whew. Now, 3 more weeks at the bottom speaks the same language that I would have been speaking. She says, the way I would have raced down and flung open that front door and screamed in that man's face to get the F away from my house. Exactly, because how dare you have the nerve to ring my doorbell so early? What is your problem, especially when he canceled in advance? And that's what Me Moore says, okay, it's not just me, because I would have gone ballistic and probably thrown ice cold water in his face on top of that. Asking, are you awake now, you piece of poop? Salt and Fireweed says, started throwing things as he's running off because he would be, I'm just so mad for her. And then Gev Madge at the bottom says, my statement would be, do you know what 5 pounds of thermite and a road flare would do to your boat? If you knock one more time, we're going to find out together. I don't know what thermite is. That sounds probably like concrete or something. Greg Hopper says, that buddy is making your husband his stand-in family after breaking up his own. And then Gail Min says, my husband had a friend like that. monopolized his time, and my husband just gave in. He used to make our then 2 sons cry, and he said nothing. Well, I handled it, and not in a way his friend liked. There are just some men that they just don't know how to take no for an answer. Now, Misha says, I think we need more details. Now, let's pull this in under today. Miss Bossy put this one under boundaries. She said, yesterday I posted about my husband's fishing buddy refusing to accept my husband canceling on him because our young kids were sick. I have another perspective on the situation, courtesy of my 20-year-old who was leaving the house as Buddy rolled up. Important details. My son does not drive due to epilepsy, and our area offers door-to-door rideshare in lieu of running bus service in our suburbs. Demand is high and services are limited, so my son has to leave before 6 a.m. to get to his commitments on time at 8. They will not wait beyond a 3 minutes grace period after marking arrived, and ordering a new ride after a cancel usually results in a 3-hour wait. So as he was locking up the house, he noticed Fishing Buddy's truck near our driveway. Signs of life at our front door got Buddy out of the truck, and he, 6'4", started walking across our lawn, demanding my son return inside and wake his dad so they could go fishing. Important detail. Our lawn is covered in inflatable Halloween decorations right now. They are my autistic 4-year-old's favorite thing, and because we live where it's pretty windy, they have tie-downs staked everywhere. Major tripping hazards. To protect people from cutting our corner lot and dying, we strung lines around the perimeter to encourage people to use the sidewalk only. So Buddy easily steps over the string lights, which are more to herd trick-or-treaters and not inconsiderate adults of his stature. Trips over the dragon family closest to the street, continues lumbering and demanding, gets to the 7-foot pumpkin and barely recovers from his faceplant, yelling at my son to get his dad now, clearly angry. My son knows this man hates no and didn't want to stick around. His ride was there. He said, sorry, my ride is here, and quickly escaped the situation. When he pulled away, 2 inflatables were down. When he came home, most of the inflatables had been unplugged. He speculated that after being told no, my husband's buddy went on a rampage and tried to take down the decorations that nearly killed him as he cut through the yard in the dark. He quickly and quietly fixed them. I'm guessing she means that the son quietly fixed them. Now, here is a picture of the scene of the man getting hit in the face by the inflatables. She says this, but inflatables. Now, Ezra and other people are wondering, so what's your husband going to do about his little friend to protect his family? If a 20-year-old knows that this man baby hates the word no, to the point he's literally trying to run away from him, likely scared, yet he's still allowed on the property, that's pretty problematic. Hope your husband does the right thing for his family. This person says, seriously? And Open Wing says, I need to know how your husband reacted to all this and if he still considered this rude a-hole a friend. And so she doesn't answer that question. I went through her replies to see if she answered. She didn't answer here. But this person, Cranberry, says, that guy is a walking assault charge waiting to happen. He needs therapy and anger management and a hefty fine along with his jail sentence. Now, Bossy said, unfortunately, he learned nothing from that with his own brother last year. Honestly, he's not around my house often enough to just pick up and drop off my husband. He's not allowed inside. He doesn't typically interact with my kids because he just doesn't care, which is fine by me. So there you have it. She hasn't, or the kids haven't had to really deal with him, but the husband needs to step in and have a conversation because obviously this is not right. This is inconsiderate, and he's trying to meddle with their family dynamics. If these children are sick and the 20-year-old is running away, something needs to give, and this man needs to be they need to go no contact. This does not need to be a fishing buddy. All right, so I just wanted to share that this was a boundary situation, but it also goes to show how lonely these people are, because many of these men are not pouring into their families. They're not doing things with their own kids when they're small. They really think that being the protector and provider is enough, and they're not taking the time to pour into them as children. So when they get older, the kids will they don't know anything about this man. He doesn't know anything about them, and this is a problem that these dudes need to tackle, but they won't. They won't. All right, y'all. Let me know what you think of this one.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love coming to Costco with your wife? 0. How much do you love coming to Costco with your wife? 0. Can I say negative? So what's the number? 0.
That video is not funny. I know it's meant to be a joke and it's meant to make people laugh, but it's not funny. It's not funny when men make their wives the butt of their jokes. It's not funny when men state that they don't like spending time with their wife. That on a scale of 0 to 10, going to Costco with their wife is a 0. That is sad, that is mean, and it's disrespectful, and it's become far too normalized in our society. It's very normal to see a portrayal of the wife being the old nag, the ball and chain, right? And men feel very comfortable making jokes at their wife's expense. And I think this video is an example of that, where a bunch of men in a grocery store felt comfortable telling a stranger that going grocery shopping with their wife was unenjoyable. It was something they didn't want to be doing. And there was only like 1 or 2 men in there who, with sincerity, said it was a 10. That going grocery shopping with their wife was a 10. And those men must genuinely enjoy their partner and love their partner, because that's the normal response, right? That is the normal response. And even if you hate going to Costco, right? Chances are she doesn't like going to Costco either. Chances are, for the whole entire time she's been married to you, she's been responsible for thinking about when you need toilet paper or toothpaste or new underwear from Costco. She's the person who's thinking about the food for the family and understanding if she should buy it in bulk or just at the grocery store. She tracks the prices. She knows what she needs and where she needs to get it. And yeah, so maybe at Costco, she takes a long time shopping. She goes down every aisle. She checks all of the prices because she's buying things for you and your family. And then you have the nerve to make fun of her, to joke that it's the least enjoyable experience you have, going grocery shopping with her. That is sad. We cannot normalize this behavior. We should not normalize this behavior, because I also know there are a lot of men out there who are not like this. My husband and I, we love going to Costco together. Do we like grocery shopping? No. Do we all wish that we could just go about our days having all the things that we need, not needing to go grocery shopping? Of course. But if we have to go and we get to go together, that's amazing. These men, they don't like their wives, and we have to stop normalizing this. We have to stop normalizing men making their wives the butt of their joke, because it's not funny, it's sad, and it's disrespectful.
All right, here's part 4 of my family fully committing to a theme. This one was truly, truly random and so much fun. I literally felt like putting on fairy ears and wings, so I put in the family group chat, hey, the weekend after next, we're having a fairy party. I bought everyone's ears, and then everyone else showed up as fairies, and it was fantastic. Earlier in the day, went and hid dragon eggs in the backyard, and then I had them all do a dragon egg hunt, and then we all hatched our dragons together. We hatched our dragons. I also told them that I found a fairy, and my parents had this really big tree in their backyard, and that if they open the door, they'll see a fairy. And when they opened the door, it was a mirror, so they saw themselves. What you notice is that there were no kids in sight, just big kids, just us, just some grown-up pretend fun. And then naturally, I ended it all with a rave, a fairy rave. Anyway, let me know if you if you want any more of our random. All right, bye.